We should just play ourselves some music. So unmuted, no?
Yeah.
Hello. So this is live where?
This is live on YouTube and on Instagram. I'll just quickly check.
Yeah, let's check. So while is Gunjan checking if we are why 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 is this happening?
Okay, 1 second. I'll just check for the Instagram.
I don't think it's working. Okay, hi, sorry if you're on YouTube. Is anybody with us on YouTube? I don't think so.
Yes, we have one viewer here. So I was just checking our Instagram live and it is not working. So just give me 1 minute. By then, Makita will be talking to
Yes.
you and I'll start my live on Instagram.
So hello everyone. Thank you for being with us. Who is that one person? Please tell us in the chat window. It's also possible it might be soon or somebody from our colleagues, which we will be very happy for. Whoever is with us on YouTube, welcome. Today, it's the last session of the year, and we have asked everyone to give us some questions, but since there was not a flood of questions, we will follow sort of the suggestion from last week that last week we spoke about the power of writing. So this week we will speak about the power of reading, and I will recommend some books that I read. And I also see we have Rahul. Hi Rahul, so happy you're there. Rahul, I was thinking of you, and as I promised last week, I brought my diary with me, and I also made there some notes. So let me know whether you've already considered the diary thing, writing diary. And for those who are seeing this for the first time, last week we spoke a little bit about journaling slash writing, and we were trying to motivate ourselves and explain why writing is helpful for our brain. So this week, as Gunjan has announced, this week we are supposed to speak about, we are supposed to answer any questions you may have for us. And I also took this opportunity to recommend you some of the books I was reading last year. And also, I see Digvijay. Hi, Digvijay. So nice to see you. Thank you for being with us. And Gunjan, now we're live on Instagram.
Yes, we're live on Instagram.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being live on Instagram. If you're there, maybe now that Rahul and Digvijay heard from me what we are doing today, I will now let Gunjan to tell those who are connecting on Instagram now what is it that we are doing here.
Thank you.
And then we move forward with the books and the talks. And
Thank you, Makita. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. As Makita mentioned, that this is going to be the last live stream of the year, like not in all, because with the new year, we are going to come along with the new strategy. So you will get to see something new coming. And I'm going to keep you updated via social media platforms on that. So please stay tuned with us. And coming on today's live stream, I just connected on Instagram as well. So thank you so much who are joining us on Instagram. I couldn't see who has joined us because I'm using my back camera. So we are going to check over here. Till then, you already know the topic. The topic is ask us anything. So please, if you have any questions regarding your career advice, personal growth, all learning opportunities. Please put on your questions here and then we will be answering it. And I've got some questions with me here, if you can see. You guys have asked us like in the entire year and we couldn't answer. So I just found out those
Hi,
sort of
Vivek.
questions and we are going to answer those questions. But before that, you could see I have a stake of books with me. And last week we had a session on become happier and healthier with the magic of writing, and we discussed about journaling. And Makita also promised that she's going to show us her diary and a lot of it. So now I'm going to continue last week session for 5 minutes, and then we will jump on this, and then we will jump on this. And in between, if we get any questions from you guys, we will go on that as well. So over to you, Makita.
Thank you. So yet again, let me see who do we have? We have Vidhi Gupta and Hiren Sakaria on Instagram. So welcome, and Vivek, I really appreciate your with us given preparation for your exams, which you will nail it anyway. So thank you for taking this time to relax here with us. And as I promised last week, I also promised to Rahul that I will share something from my diary here. So as I said, the way I use diary is just sometimes write things I'm grateful for. So for example, I wrote here once that I was really grateful that I made my colleague laugh. But more than that, for today's session, I wrote here some benefits of reading. So as we will go through the books that I would like to recommend you, and generally reading, it would be very interesting from me to hear, is there any book you currently reading, and would you recommend to others? What is it that you're reading? Why are you reading it? What is good about it? Or if there's any book you consider reading, when is it last time you read a book? Or is it that you don't, how do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy reading like a physical book, or do you like to download to your phone? All these things would be really cool for us to hear. So for reading, so interesting, yeah, like Gunjan, I was thinking during sessions like these, people sometimes use it to be selling things, selling cosmetics, selling brands, selling stuff. We are selling reading, I find it really cool. So hopefully we will do a good job selling you the benefits of reading. So number one, mental stimulation. So again, I think we spoke about it last week during the writing as well. See, take it as an exercise for your brain, right? One thing that happens to me sometimes when I read it, as it really stimulates my brain, sometimes I start reading and I get so many other thoughts and it's so annoying and distracting. So what I do, I just quickly write it down on a paper so that I can move on reading rather than stop reading. Because it really works. Like, you immediately, when you start reading, you will remember, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, oh, I think of this, I think of that. Sometimes you think of some genius ideas for businesses or whatever. So for you to keep reading, I can recommend you just write down your thoughts, so you don't have to be scared you will lose the genius ideas you had because you just got mentally stimulated, and you can get back to it and you can continue reading. So mental stimulation, definitely. Or if you want to get some good ideas, if you want to get inspired, I can also promise you that when you read, anything you read, you will think of something you never thought you could think of. So very magic. Stress reduction. Indeed, it does help to reduce some stress because it's a form of exercise. So just like you go to the gym to exercise your muscles, and then this one you exercising your brain. So I can promise you will definitely feel your stress levels will go down. I also find books or any sort of form of reading as a form of companion. So sometimes when I'm lonely or alone, I actually realize when I read, for example, I was reading this book from this author, Adam Grant. I will mention a little bit more about it. I literally felt like I'm with him. Like, I was literally picturing him, how he writes it, and the things he experienced, the things he researched. And I really felt like I'm in a company of him.
Yeah.
So I suddenly didn't feel like I'm alone. So it can also help you if you feel lonely. And then obviously you can maybe read some novel and something romantic or scary or some detective stuff. And and then you definitely get lost in that. What will also obviously help you, and that goes without saying, it's gaining knowledge. So usually I think one thing, and we also say it during our webinars, during our sessions, there may be just one thing that you will remember from reading, and that one thing is good enough as long as it's useful to you. So as I said, even if there will be one sentence, one advice, that advice can change your life, like literally. So it's worth it, even just for that one thing. So it's to gain knowledge. Then we have here vocabulary expansion. Another great stuff, I must say, that if you read, and some of us are maybe slightly shy to read out loud, but again, if you sort of exercise reading out loud and saying things out loud, and it will go through your mouth, you will suddenly catch yourself in a conversation with someone using some really fancy word, and it feels cool. It encourages you to learn more and read more. So vocabulary, definitely, it's like a magic. For me, I had to study, not in my English is not my native language, but when I studied in English, I could obviously learn so much by reading. So that, again, I guess goes without saying, but we are here to sell you reading. So hence all the benefits. Then we have memory improvement, something definitely useful for everyone, especially if you get to read something and then you tell someone else about it. So having that exercise of going through the thoughts in your brain and then actually telling someone, I read about this was super helpful, and by that act of telling someone else, you actually also exercising yourself, going through that again, and improving your memory. And then stronger analytical thinking skills. You definitely want that, right? You're actually thinking critically about what you're reading, and then obviously, hopefully, then discussing with others and see what is it that you got from it, and maybe ask for some feedback, what others think about it, and then, or read one book and then read a critic of that book, right? So you can literally get more deeper into the content. Then we have improved focus and concentration. I think that's something that you cannot put a money on, literally. Now with all these machines around us, like phones, honestly, our attention is going, becoming much harder and harder to maintain. So as I said, like when I read myself, I have such I feel so tempted to look at my phone. It's horrible. It's an addiction. Of course, it is an addiction. It's that chemical in your brain, like the dopamine from like reading something, haha. So what I do when I read or when I need to focus, I literally take my phone, and I think we spoke about this before. I literally put it away from my side. I usually hide my phone. I put it on silent, and I usually hide my phone behind my laptop, so I cannot physically see it. I cannot even see it at the side of my eyes. It needs to be away, like physically, completely away. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I hid my phone in the drawer. So I literally because this thing in there, it's like the most valuable thing you have. So please treat it like a treasure, and don't let some phones and some machinery mess with it, because it will try its best, and the algorithms will. So protect it, and at the end, the phone is really just a thing, and you can just literally remove it, and make sure that you give that brain that exercise that actually can help it grow and make you smarter. I promise, reading will make you smarter. We all want to be smart, right? And then we have better writing skills. I guess it's same with the vocabulary. So generally your vocabulary will improve, and therefore your writing to tranquility, you can relax with it a little bit. Free entertainment, again, guess depending on your choice of books, etc. And that's it. So these are the benefits I wrote. I think Gunna's gonna kill me. I spent so much time, but please, I hope we managed to. Did you buy it? Are you buying reading?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm 100% with you. Whatever you said, from book is a companion to you said that your mind is stimulate, to what you said that your vocabulary expansion, everything. And it is in India, I think we have a saying that if you're reading a book, if you want to expand your vocabulary, go and read a book. So this is something that we get from school only. So you
Mhm.
are totally relevant. I could see we have Digvijay, Rahul, everybody. Please tell me if I'm saying it right. It is in India like a thing. Yeah, we are asked to read a book so that we can expand our vocabulary, we can improve our English. If we want to improve a certain language, then read that book in a particular language, so you will improve your knowledge about that language. So yeah, this is the thing. Whatever you said is 100%. I could see Digvijay, Rahul, Digvijay again. They are saying a lot. So I'm reading. Digvijay is saying I'm reading. Linchpin, are you indispensable? Which teaches you to stand out from the crowd and change your thoughts. Wonderful, Digvijay. And then Rahul, I have a question. Do you guys have any insight on how to build a habit of reading and how to not get bored and remember what you have read? So you already covered a lot of things from this question, but then do you want to take it, Marketa?
Yeah, Digvija, I got a great tip for you, something that I've done myself. So, the way you ask about reading, I had the same issue with going to the gym. Okay. So, I felt like, how do I get motivated to go to the gym? Right. So, just like any other habit, and I think we spoke about it even last week when it comes to writing, any habit, just break it in the smallest possible piece that you can. Just make it really just a small task. So for example, if you really feel like not like reading, like you're a little bit lazy about it or whatever, just find the book and just put it on your nightstand. That's it. That's a step number one, you know. And then a few days later you may just take it and you just maybe read one sentence. That's it, you know. And then like you slowly gradually add more and more till you like reading, you know. So sort of celebrate every little thing. So same for me, it was when I was going to the gym. I would start just putting my gym clothes on the bed. That's it. And then the next day I would put the gym clothes on, you know. And then the other day I would just go and see the gym, you know. So like little bit by bit. And now I go to the gym and like I love it. Like I would say I find it normal. I don't find it's something habitual. It's just part of normal thing of thinking of going to the gym because you know it's so good for your again for your mental health for your mental health. And
Yeah.
also what helps Digvijay, it's what is your objective for reading. So is it entertainment, is it knowledge, is it that for me personally that objective was literally exercising the brain. So I don't I for example, my memory, it's not really good, I feel. So I almost gave up on that. So when I was in a high school, I used to be very passionate about history, and I would read so many historical books. And then you would ask me a question like which date some like Chinese dynasty when ruled what, and I could not remember, and I would feel so miserable because I spent hours and hours and my memory would like fail me always. So at the end, it's as I said, what is your objective? So I could feel very demotivated reading historical books if my motivation was to memorize all the dates and wars of all those dynasties. Instead of it, the purpose of my reading, the objective of my reading is exactly when I go to the gym and I exercise, so I feel I breathe better, I'm more relaxed, I'm more, you know, strong. For me, when I read, my objective is that I sound more smart, you know, that I use better vocabulary, that my brain it's working out better. So for my reading for me, it's stretching the brain, like literally stretching the brain. And by the way, another great tip, I always say this, like when I go to the gym, my favorite machine, it's not the one where you're running on the belt.
Mhm.
I love the one which I will never remember the name. I think it's called like CrossFit or something.
Yes,
Like
yes.
you pushing
This
these
thing,
things.
yeah.
I just love it because like you're not jumping, you're just like standing, and then I can actually put the book there because you know it's,
People do that.
and
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
love reading in the gym. So Digvija, I gave you actually 3 tips. So you can literally exercise your brain while you're exercising your body in the gym. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Markita. I'm just looking at other comments. So here we have, yes, sometimes one just forgets what he or she had read the last time. So I also want to add on this comment. So what I do is I started reading books from my colleges and now from my college, and now I have read like more than 20 books. And I have a diary. Last time also I mentioned the same thing. And in that diary, I have read like written the name of that book. That okay, this book is done, this book is done. So if somebody asks me which book did you read this particular book, I was like, I don't remember. I just quickly go see that thing where I have written, and then it's like, yes, I've read this. And then I also uh, write some points related to that book, like what I learned, lessons learned, or maybe one thing that, for example, okay, I read this last book, uh, Millennial Housewives, and that is the book. It has 10 stories of all the Indian entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, and one of them was Pabbi Ben Rabari. She's from Gujarat. She has not done her education. She's from very rural area, and how she started the business. Now she is running a billion rupees business, something like that. And then I read that one story was there, and see, I remember that thing because after reading that particular story, I went on Google, checked her photos, and now I know who's that lady, and I have that photo stick in my mind. And also, like, what does she do? So she does that particular thing. So this is a specific example where we are reading about a person. But if you are reading something about, say, the power of social innovation, this is Makita's book, not mine. So here you won't get to see that picture and all, but then you can always write a lessons learned, saying that okay, I read this, I understood this, and I learned from that particular book. So this is something you can do as well. I hope it makes sense.
Okay, let's see also who's on Instagram.
Yeah, it is considered that in order to learn a new language, you should start with the literature itself. Yes, so Vivek also agreed about that thing, that you should read a book if you want to expand your vocabulary or learn about specific language. Thank you so much. Margita, do you have anything to add, or should I go for the questions?
Vivek, you can recommend me some book because I have put Hindi on Duolingo now, so that next time I speak to your parents, I can do better job speaking to them directly without you translating. So if you have any tips for books in Hindi that I should read to improve my Hindi, I'm waiting for the advice. Thank you.
Wonderful. Margita, do you want to recommend the other books before I go on the questions?
Oh, you want me to now recommend my books?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there was several books I wanted to mention. Don't have all of them on me, but maybe something to start with. This is actually in my language. Okay, this author is Anthony de Mello, and something I always want to tell you a little background about how I got the book. This book I actually got from, as I said, from my country in my language, from my neighbor. And it's funny because sometimes I feel books sort of get to us in some quite mysterious ways. I sort of believe that book gets to you, and sometimes I read something and I say, how is it possible that I'm reading it now when I need it the most? It's almost like I didn't seek the book.
Coincidence or something.
It's the book has seeked me in a way. But funny part about this is when I saw the name, I thought, oh, that must be some Italian guy, and it just sounds very like, I'm sure it's gonna be cheesy and I'm not gonna enjoy it and all that. But I remember purposely not checking who the guy is. And the reason is I actually was more interested in the content, but I didn't want to find out that the author is some like guy I wouldn't respect, and therefore I wouldn't read it. So it's very interesting how much prejudice there is. We always use this line, don't judge book based on its cover, right? Yeah. And so I would also say, like, it's very important for us, especially when we speak about critical thinking, like, you should know who the author is. but in many cases there have been authors that wrote beautiful things in history, but then those authors themselves were not really the best people. So it's really fascinating how that authorship versus the content can also differ in some way. So we should be aware of it. And again, that's something that we speak in cultural intelligence, like be aware of our prejudice and use critical thinking, know who you're reading, etc. But in this particular case, I didn't want to know who I read, because I was interested more in the content. And after I finished reading the book, which I absolutely loved, I actually Googled the guy, and then I found out that he is a guy who was born in Mumbai. Imagine that name. So he's actually from India, which I have absolutely no idea. And he is spiritual person. I think he was also a priest, and he already passed away in United States. He migrated there, but I recommend you that author if you are feeling interested in a bit of a spiritual talk. So that's one. Then other then sort of productivity wise, if we have some people there who love to really boost themselves out productivity wise, then I can really recommend this book called Deep Work. And we spoke about a little bit about focus. How is it important to stay focused? When I was giving you that tip of removing the phone from your side, this is also similar. How can you literally learn to organize yourself in certain time blocks, how to literally get offline to get things done, etc. So I can recommend that. I have not finished reading that, so I'm not gonna be reviewing it, and I don't think this is even a review sort of session, but more like, again, get you motivated into the reading, and get you motivated reading even just a little bit. Like, again, don't feel intimidated when you see a book that you must read it all word by word. There are books which I read word by word, and there are books that I just sort of scan through. Both is fine, as long as you find, as I said, that one thing in there. But this book I really love, and this one I'm reading word by word. And it's really about it's also quite nicely illustrated. It's really about understanding. Again, we kind of talk about it in growth mindset, how understanding how sometimes if you want to reach a peak, you have to be sometimes willing to step a few steps back.
Yeah.
So don't see things like going backward as a disadvantage. It can mean that then you will be able to actually progress much further in life or career. So it's sort of like revisiting your ways. And it's a lot, reflects a lot on people in sports, for example, where they may have to and there's actually quite interesting one about cricket, that there was a guy who found a way how to hold a ball, and that became a huge thing, because it's basically about you finding your own way, how to do things differently, how to do things better. So sometimes when something doesn't work, maybe if you just approach it through a play, you may be able to push through something that has been standing in a way of your progress.
Yeah.
So if you're not sure, just play around with it a little bit, or do something completely different that you have never done before. So maybe you never played the piano, try to play a little bit. You never sang, try to sing a little bit. And that play in something completely different can actually help you in an area that is your focus, that is your interest. So experiment pretty much. So I really love this book. And then there is one more book also on productivity, and we also mentioned it in our newsletter before. It's some, I think it's called Second Brain. It's about how to effectively write your notes, so writing notes and stuff. And again, maybe refers slightly more to last week. That one I think finished reading only half of it or something, but I was thinking, am I just reading books about how to write notes? It just felt suddenly really strange, but at least it really made me better note taker. I'm using Evernote, but I still have a way to go, but it helped me progress somehow. Other book I want to mention, or generally concept or author or company. It's this Gallup. It's a big company. They do lots of personal professional development. We were doing with our students in the past this Gallup Strengths Finder. That's something that you would have to pay for it. It's not for free. It's a personality test. But I can really recommend to you if you want to invest in yourself. I think um, you have a phone call, sorry. That's something that I can really recommend, but generally you can look a little bit into that company, Gallup. So as I said, it's a lot of about understanding yourself, your strengths. And this company made this book about management. So if you ever want to become a great manager, this is not a bad book about understanding how to manage people by breaking all the rules. Basically, it's about caring, but yeah, but being good boss too. And then there is one more book I actually thought, because we have lots of learners from India. And when I was in India, actually, it was last January, we visited one of the colleges up north in India. And there was a big sentiment about making India great again. And I wanted to say, you don't have to make India great again. India already is great. So, and if you want to understand India better, I can really want to recommend you an author, Rabindranath Tagore, which some of you I'm sure already know and already heard of. And if not, then please read something from him, read something about him, because one of the greatest minds of India, including Gandhi, were really inspired by him. And yeah, Google him, read about him. But he's a Nobel Prize. He got a Nobel Prize, so he's quite a thinker. So I might recommend you reading something from him.
What is the book name, Margita?
This one is called Nationalism.
Nationalism.
But you can find anything from him. He wrote a lot of poetry. I'm not the biggest poetry fan, I must say, but there is one Czech author I absolutely love. But I think he's what I love about him, that for that age where he lived. So he was born 1861 and died 1941. And given that today for us traveling it's nothing, he traveled the world. Like he has a quite rich background. So he's been in Japan. He visited then Czechoslovakia, which used to be my country. Then they split. Now it's Czech Republic and Slovakia. So he's been around the world in Japan, from like literally around the globe. So he knew about the world a lot.
Margita, I'm impressed the way you are talking about Rabindranath Tagore, because Rabindranath Tagore is an influencer in India. Everybody knows about him, and the things that you know about him, it's pretty impressive, because like you are not from India, still you know a lot about him. I mean, I don't know. I feel very touched, and I am sure all our viewers, Vivek, Rahul, Digvijay, are touched itself. Yes, please continue.
Yeah, we have lots of thank you. We have lots of Bengali colleagues, so I think if I didn't know him, they would disown me. Yeah, I'm almost done. I don't know how much time we have, and I also want to hear Gunjan's other favorite books. I loved listening how you were speaking about that entrepreneur ladies. So I don't want to. I'm almost done. I just wanted to mention to you, there is this something. I wanted to tell you, when you're studying something or doing for school, this was, for example, a school book that I had to get because of my studies. And by the way, the reason I'm still studying at the university, it's so that I'm literally forced to read. I actually have to read because of my assignments. So sometimes if you're not, again, Digvijay was asking about being motivated, you can just literally sign yourself for a course, and then you will have to read it because the school will force you read it. So power of social innovation is something about, like, you can be an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur that has an impact, that can actually ignite community networks for good. Obviously something that Gunjan and I are trying to do, maybe not so explicitly, but we are doing it. And last but not least, I actually wanted to tell you as well, if you read, if you write, you can also combine it, and you can write book yourself and then read it. So Me and my colleagues, we have previously wrote books on employability, and I want to tell you, it's also about when you get into book writing, it's a lot about collaboration. So even if you write something yourself, it's good to have someone who will help you read it, edit it, critique it. It's a really nice collaborative effort and something nice to look at and remember. Also, you can, if you think about making a book, you can ask for people to contribute to the book. So it's also a lot of fun, like making it graphically pretty, etc., etc. So you can also, if you one thing is writing, one thing is reading, and writing is like considering having your own book. So that's almost like turning your diary into a book, or asking others to contribute, have a book of interviews. And on that note, I also have one of my ex-colleagues. He also wrote a book himself, so I also actually wanted to give him a shout out, because see, as I said, like everyone who actually tries something, that's already a big step.
Yeah.
Lots of people just talk, but when somebody actually sits down and actually physically writes a book, tries, or when somebody just reads the page or puts the book on their nightstand, that's already a first step. And that effort and actually going it and doing it should be really, really celebrated. So if you read today one page, celebrate it. If you read a book, celebrate it. And again, find collaborators, find your crowd, find editors, co-editors, co-authors. You also don't have to do that alone. Find a club, reading club. Join our club of readers.
Yes, please.
We are here to support you so that you can self-improve, because that's something that we are trying to do too.
Magda, I just got one question, and it is also here. Somebody has asked this question in our webinars, and you just said that find your crowd, find your circle. So here is the question: how to find your tribe? So, any tip on that? Like how a person should find their like-minded group?
I actually, Gunjan, really think it's just find yourself first. Like try to understand
Very
who you
practical,
are,
yeah.
understand, and then the right people will come to you. Like it's almost works the reverse way.
Reverse
I
way.
feel, like it's not us like that, please join us. It's more like we're here, and if you want to be with us, we are so happy and so grateful. If you don't, we absolutely understand and
Yeah.
respect it. So that's it. So if my tribe, it's one person, and we always say that if my tribe is Gunjan, I'm happy. So it's fine. It's literally that, like, understand the value of that quality of your tribe. Don't look at quantity. So if you will be there, and it's fine if your objective is have thousands and thousands and thousands, like, I really believe if the quality is there, the numbers will come anyway.
Yeah.
But what is more important, that you have fun in the moment and that you are enjoying it. Because if you enjoy it, others will. So again, it sort of comes back to you. So you be your own tribe first. Have you as that first follower and the first supporter. Once you have you, you're gonna have others following you naturally, because you become inspiration in the way you treat yourself, pretty much.
I actually want to add a very practical example here. What Makita just said, maybe it will be more relevant to you. Take an example of Instagram, how you create your Instagram account. And then you start posting if you love doing gym and all. Then you start posting reels about what do you do in gym. You do gym clothes, and then you use that hashtag. And then people start following you because they like your content, and that's how they become your tribe, because whatever you're doing, they are loving it, they are liking it, they want to see it more. So that way, marketer just said that you work on yourself. So how we create our Instagram account, and then we create on our profile, we work on ourselves. So likewise, so this is like not on Instagram, on your personal level, but this was the relevant example that I wanted to give you. Now I have another question, Marketa. This is for you and very relevant to you as well. So one person asked us, I am working for 9 hours daily, like he's working. So how should I focus on my studies as well?
So I'm the worst person to answer it because I work many hours a day and I study as well.
Yeah.
Usually I leave it to the last minute, so then I really want to kill myself. So it's really hard. All I can say, just learn to do literally piece by piece, like learn breaking things into pieces. I really, that's the only advice I can give you. Like, break your day into smaller chunks of tasks when you are focused, when you are not distracted, when you're just doing one thing at a time. Like, when we're trying to multitask, we think we are, and probably this is the right book to look at, like, rather focus on one thing properly in a given limited time. One thing I've also noticed, why am I like so bad at like doing studies last minute, and I work and like I'm thinking, like, what am I doing wrong? And then I actually realized that I'm expanding my time too much because I'm a perfectionist. So rather than basically saying, okay, I will now work on a task and I will work on it until I think it's perfect. The problem is, the thing it's never perfect anyway, right? It may be perfect for you, but then others don't care that much anyway, and then you end up exhausted, and what's the point? So it's better to say that in this 1 hour, in this 60 minutes, and you can even like set a timer, I will do whatever best I can within those 60 minutes, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
So, learn to actually work with time differently. I guess that's the most, hopefully, practical advice I can give you. And I'm only experimenting with it. And now, as I said, I'm only giving advice based on knowing that I have a lot to improve myself. But this is sort of what I have realized, that I spent a lot of time working hours and hours and hours on one thing, rather than reversing it and say, I will work on that thing only for this amount of time, so I can spend other quality time on something else later. I hope that helps. Do we have any questions there? It would be nice to maybe read. Hi Shivang, thank you also for watching us on Instagram. Much appreciated, because we have one person watching us on Instagram, and that's Shivang. Thank you, Shivang. We also had Yash Karva before. Anyone watching can see you're watching too, so they can see I'm watching myself. So maybe I'm the only person watching. Anyway, let me see. Good idea. Last time working is good working. We already discussed. Same problem with me, perfectionist. Yeah, Vivek. Hopefully the tip will be useful. Rahul, he sometimes forget what he. Yeah. I know. Gunjan addressed the being
Mentioned
bored
that,
thing.
yeah.
Like, and you know what, Rahul? Then just literally like. Maybe this could also help, Rahul, right? Like, just set the time. So I will just read for 5 minutes. That's it. Just read for 5 minutes, whatever you can in five, and that's enough, right? So just try to reverse the time. And as for memory, if, as I said, like I used to have this like huge respect for books. I felt very guilty to be,
Doing the highlights
doing
on
the
it, yeah.
highlights. I really feel bad. Now I actually started using at least pencil, because then I always go, oh, I should highlight it, and then I don't, and then I regret it. So you may use a pencil, because that you can still erase, so you don't feel like you're doing such a damage. And then, of course, you, as Kunjan also said, you have the diary. So maybe you just write down one sentence that was useful to you, and it will help you.
Before I log out, I have last question, and I think we have Shivang, we have Vivek, Rahul. All of them are doing great wherever they are. The question is how to start a conversation with a stranger, and you guys must have done it 100 times. So please tell us, what do you do to start a conversation with a stranger? If I'll tell my thing, so if I'm meeting somebody first time, I would maybe start conversation saying that, oh, I like your this. Uh, Honestly,
Compliment.
if, yeah, give a compliment. So if, and then if I'm not liking anything specific, then maybe I'll start with good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how are you? So like that we do. So what is your take on that? And now, Makita, do you want to add anything on this question?
Strangers. I don't know whether I talk to strangers, Gunjan. I'm actually thinking about it now. Like, I would literally just say hi.
Yeah. Yeah, a very greeting, sort of like warm greeting.
As you said, it is about giving honest compliment or like honest question about how are you? You okay? Things like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Where did the question come from?
I got this from one of the webinars.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what is your take on that? Please reply to it. And for now, I think we are 14 minutes ahead of time. So,
I spoke too much. Gunjan, I also took because it's end of the year. I actually yesterday I I went on Quora. This is this like community channel where people ask all sorts of questions, and there was this guy Kainosoku Johan Meangana, whatever. He wrote this like really interesting thing about how you perceive time. And it's funny because you and I today spoke about, sometimes people are excited about the new year and sometimes they're like anxious about the new year, uncertain. So given that this is our last video of 2023, and God knows whether we will see each other again in 2024.
We will.
I thought like I could maybe end it with a way of you understanding the concept of time, because I've also noticed when interacting with students, there is sometimes lots of anxiety about that they feel like, oh, they're missing out something, or that, that they are too late, or they're comparing themselves to others a lot, thinking like, oh, am I too old for this, or like, did I miss some opportunity, like others are already big entrepreneurs. Mark Zuckerberg, in my age, he was already running Facebook and I'm not there yet. Like, how do you perceive time? So I actually thought this note from this guy, as I said, I'm definitely saying his name wrong, and if anybody is interested for his name, let me know. But as I said, I want to actually read you this and leave you with that for New Year as you're reflecting on it. So he said, or he or she, that past doesn't exist. Okay, there is no past. You will not find it anywhere. What you remember of the past is exactly that. So it's just your memory. So memories you have now, you can alter it. You can alter your memories. See, like when you look into history, you literally say that history is written by the winners. Or if you have a dictator in a country, you say that the history is written by the dictator. So they dictate, this is how it was, this is how it happened, because that's the truth that fits to them. So sort of, I encourage you to sort of, you dictate what your past is. You decide what it is, what serves you. So you can make anything you want from your past. You dictate it, and the future also doesn't exist. Okay, the future you imagine, it's the imagination that you have now. Okay, so whatever you imagine for the future, that's happening right now. So by the time you will get there, the moment will have already passed, and it is never what you expected. So nothing is too late or too soon, because there is no past and there is no future. So you don't have to worry. Nothing is too late and nothing is too soon. Everything is right now as it's supposed to be. So what you have is now, this moment now. And as you know, lots of our sessions, we have started it. We appreciate it. You have decided to spend your time with us. And everything and anything is just here, and it just passed. See, this has been already 30 minutes. It's already gone. It's already history. So what you need is an approach to life that gives you something meaningful to do with every moment as it is. So if what you're doing right now is meaningful to you, then it is time well spent. With every moment as it passes, it is not. If it is not meaningful, you have wasted it. So, in which case, you need to rethink your approach. So, what is most important that you really think? What is your approach to life? Whether you appreciate the moment right now, when you look past, do it very carefully, because you're the one to tell the story. What is your story? You're the one to pick from it what serves you. And same for the future. Like, live it now. Whatever you wish for the future, like, enjoy it right now, because when it will happen you could be disappointed, it wasn't exactly as you imagined. So you may as well enjoy the future right now. So this is for me, happy 2024. And Gunjar, if you have any last words of recommendations or wishes, please, I'm passing it to you.
Thank you very much. No, I do not have anything to add because the thing that you just read for us is something I'm going to remember because it was very practical and I think it is true. What you just said is true. So, yes, what you have is just present. Work on it. And whatever you're creating in your present, so make sure that whatever you're doing at this point in time is making you happy. And on that note, happy 2024. Thank you so much for making this live stream so alive. Like we started with only 3 live stream to have, but then you guys were there, you kept coming back and back, and that is the reason we just kept going, because of you guys. So thank you so much. Please let us know if you want to continue like this for the live streams, and we will do that. Like I mentioned in the beginning, that in 2024 we are coming up with a new strategy for the live stream as well, and you will get to see something new. So for that you need to stay tuned on social media to know what is happening ahead of time. And for now, that is it. I'm going to sign off because I know most of you have your exams tomorrow, so all the best for your exams and happy new year. And we are going to meet now next year, meaning next week, next Friday, same timing. So yes, see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Shivang. Thank you, everyone who has been there with us. Bye.